Hey, everyone. This is Veronica.
This is Andy.
Howdy, I'm Dalton, and this is Logging into UKG, a Chicago Users Group production.
The HCM podcast by HCM admins for HCM admins.
And I believe today we're going to talk about the importance of HCM admins.
Yeah, why are we so cool? Why are we so important? And why should you have us in your organization?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely. Anybody want to kick it off? Anybody where you come from? I mean, they're like, I don't know what to say. Why am I important? Well, I'll start it. I mean, starting in the field as long as I've been in it, which these guys have probably been in for a while, you go to organizations and the one department that's probably still very new is the HRIS department, the HRMS, whatever you want to call it, technology department. The name has morphed over the years. And typically you see people that manage technology. You don't see department and people that are skilled in cutting their teeth in managing and supporting and helping your organization grow in technology. And the reason we're bringing this up because you need it, right? As the landscape of organizations change, as technology such as UKG and the other players that are out there, they expand and they're more designed for you to do work, life work, however you put it, and have manager and total workforce. You need a department that really supports that. I always say in my organization that we're the IT for people, right? We're the IT for people. So for me, what that looks like, that means is that any people system, we're responsible for understanding. And why is that important? I think people system, HRIS, us, right? We need to know people. And having a core background in HR, understanding the landscape of recruiting and compensation and benefits and so on and so forth, that gives us a different viewpoint than, no shade to our IT folks, than just being folks that are implementing production or enterprise software. We're different because we're constantly putting the people in front of what we do, and we're making the technology fit our people, because at the end of the day, I always say, you don't have people, you can't make product. So we really want our technology to support that. So to me, that's just kind of my overarching. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think in a world that's definitely evolving from a technology standpoint, HR was kind of almost the last one to get up to speed here. Working with organizations that have the massive file cabinets of employee records. Now with an HCM and with the growth of HR technology, we have the ability to condense a lot of that, to save a lot of that space, and that's just really a piece of what we do. Personally, my background has been all in HR, human resources, whether it's from a regional standpoint to a manager standpoint, and all different types of industries. So what was it, 8 or 9 years ago, when I raised my hand in the back of the room and said, yeah, I want to take on an HRIS capacity, I definitely felt like I found my niche when it comes to HR. And that's what I want to bring with me every single day, is I want to create a system that has an HR in mind. What is helpful from an HR standpoint? What's going to be helpful from a leadership standpoint to making those informed decisions? And then 2, what's going to be from a culture standpoint and from an employee standpoint, what's going to be as user-friendly and as easy to navigate for all of our employees, and to make sure that they have a positive, unique experience utilizing the system. So, bringing someone from an HR mindset, utilizing technology and forming that all together. And certainly there are some other elements that I'm sure we'll get into throughout the duration of this call, but that it's just HR moving in a technology related direction. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I sort of see the HRIS sort of like a Venn diagram of 3 separate areas. You have the compliance part of HR, which you have to know about. You have the people-centric side of HR, and then you have the technology itself. And I feel like that's really what makes up a good HRIS person, a good HRIS team. Are either an individual or a group of individuals that can go ahead and really combine all of those. Sort of like Veronica mentioned, we pretty much all have an IT department, and it's extremely important. And I think a lot of us are lucky to have fantastic IT departments. But stereotype here, not all the IT folks have that HR people person focus. It is a very heavy technology focused. Some organizations do have that people focus, and that's, I think, makes their IT group even stronger. But for those that don't, you really need the HRIS side to really start humanizing it and making sure that the system is working for the people of your organization.
So I got a question. Oh, go ahead.
And certainly we're not bashing IT.
No.
I love IT. And I think that's where the miss is that you have HR and IT in a lot of organizations, and there's this huge divide. Whereas where we sit is we should be a complement to the IT organization and not seen as like the adversary. Like, we really should be working together to really build a strong organization, taking people technology and enterprise technology, helping it work together, understanding that. So definitely not bashing IT. Love IT. No, we need IT because there's just some stuff they won't let us do, and we're okay with that. But
all your IT people that are listening to this right now, they're not going to shut you down tomorrow morning. So
please don't do that. We have power though, so they don't want to do that, right? We still get to see the whole pie. So I have a question for both of you. So why do you think, so thinking about where we are today, and we're talking about the importance of us in an organization, the importance of a team, why do you think organizations are still yet to adopt it? Because if you look at most companies, they still don't have an HR tech department. They have people that manage technology. They don't dedicate resources and time and energy to HRIS professionals such as ourselves. Why do you think companies are still not there yet?
Well, I think part of it is because either they go ahead and take a look at it and they say, hey, this is a piece of technology, it just falls under IT, which we've seen with some of the people on our Chicago user group board. They are in an HRIS role, but they're not in that HR department. They are under the IT team. Or to go stereotypically the other way, HR isn't always the most technologically savvy, referencing back to what Andrew had said about the file cabinets. And I think that there's really something to be said about sort of a resistance to change sometimes within institutions, where it's, hey, this is how we've always done it. This has been working for us. Why do we need something else? And I truly think that the companies that have made the leap into getting an HRIS person, an HRIS team, really quickly understand the value of that and come to rely and, truly partner. And in many cases overcome that like reservation around technology. But I really think that so much of it is this is the way we've always done it, or maybe even a hesitancy around technology, because that might not be their forte.
Yeah, there is definitely an element of relinquishing control, but also having an old school mindset of I need this in compliance, I need this going my way, I need this written this certain way. Expanding that in technology, there's kind of this element of the beyond or just a knowing that's out there. And when I do a lot of reference calls for a lot of organizations that talk about the importance of needing or wanting an HCM system. And the one thing that I always stress is that if you are going to invest in doesn't matter the organization, doesn't matter the HCM product, but you need to be 100% focused. It isn't a check the box. Hey, I got this. I got this done in my annual review. I got an HCM system here in our organization. If it's just going to be a check in the box, you're not going to get a good ROI on it, because it's just going to fall by the wayside, and you don't have individuals that are 100% focused on building that system and taking it to the level that you want it to be at from an HR standpoint. It's money down the drain.
Just don't get it.
Well, and something that I think that you had mentioned that I want to expand on, the head of our HR or talent department, Chris Noon, one of the things that she has found out in her time in HR is that when it comes to systems, companies tend to use roughly 30 to 40% of the system's capabilities. So really like learning that system and getting that ROI, like Andrew was saying, like make sure it's not just hey, we have it, we took trainings when we implemented it, we're done. And I think that's another thing that the HRIS person could be really great at, is making sure that they're keeping up to date with all the new rollouts, making sure that, not only do they know it, but they're communicating that to the rest of the team. Hey, benefits, here's a new module coming down the line, or hey, here's a tweak to how we go ahead and do open enrollment, Or recruiting, this now is available within the recruiting gateway, and it wasn't there before. So make sure that we go ahead and start pulling that into our opportunities.
You're setting up my next question perfectly. and this turned into Veronica interviewing you guys. You see how that just happened? Well, because weird. I mean, I think about all these things, and I think you're right when you talk about, resources are important. You can buy the technology, but if you don't invest in the people that support it, and you don't believe in the people, or you don't find the people that really eat, breathe, sleep this stuff, because we are out there. There are people that are looking to work for organizations who believe in technology. So, but what you spun up for me is the thought of, and you started with this, Dalton, with the pillars, right? You talked about compliance, you talked about people, and you talked about technology as kind of that Venn diagram. What are the skill sets, right? What are the skill sets that you think a good HR technologist, as we say, need to present and bring to an organization? Because it's not just the organization supporting the technology. It's also what type of individual should they be looking for when they're looking to staff this department and really make it work for their organization.
You want to take that, Andrew, or do you want me to hop in first?
No, I'll give it a first shot at it. In my example, I always found that having my HR background has definitely helped in my advancement in the HRIS capacity. But I don't. That's not necessarily a given with it. But someone that's analytical, that is project focused, that understands what an experience is going to be like from both the employee, manager, as well as the administrator, and what you want to get out of it. And the one that's most important to me, and it's a little bit more unique, and I was going to get to this a little bit later in the conversation, but now I'll start inserting it now, is being analytical. We are the keepers of the data. So it is important that we use this data in a safe but effective way for our organization. Ultimately, when using that data, we want to be the storytellers of our organization. And what I mean by that is we can pump out spreadsheets, we can pump out data all day long. What are we doing with that data? What is it telling our leaders that is going to help them make better and more informed decisions in the future? If we're just going to send a spreadsheet, if we're just going to be data pushers, that's okay. That's one part of it. But to take that next level, to be an HRS professional, you got to have that storytelling ability and talk about the health of your organization, both positively or negatively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned about just sending out the spreadsheets, I feel like that's a foundation for HRIS that you then build upon. So you have to have the knowledge for that, but that shouldn't be all it is.
Well, and you should also be teaching your people to fish, right? You shouldn't want to be the gatekeeper for everything. Like I personally don't want an HRS person that every time an HR person or a benefits person calls and says, "Can you do?" You do it. Then you're an administrative assistant. Your job, to your point, is to tell the story. That's what I say that to my team all the time. We're storytelling. I mean, you took some of the stuff you're saying, I'm like, did we have this conversation before? Because it's exactly how I feel. We're telling a story. We are helping the business to make better informed business decisions, not just with the data that comes out of the system, but with understanding the landscape. As you mentioned, Dalton, like what's going on in the world of technology? Are we researching? Are we digging? Are we learning the system itself? But moreover, I think one of the things that I get the question about is, do you need a degree? I always get the question like, what certificate? And I see a no, because I personally don't feel you do. I personally would love to see somebody, to Andrew's point, with a strong core HR background that is hungry to be in front of technology. If you've went and got an analytical or a PM certification, even a Six Sigma certification, or you've taken some classes on understanding technology, most of what we do, you learn on the job. Unless it's to be honest, and I'm not plugging another system, but unless it's like an SAP or some of these ones where you are certified in their technology only, and it doesn't dumb down the rest, but what it does, respectfully, it handicaps you to you only can do that because you have to have the certification. Whereas where we are in this landscape, I can take my set of skills, you can take yours, you're going to be able to step into anybody's back end and most likely get around fairly quickly because you understand the concept of HR technology. And I think that having a person that comes in saying, okay, I'm not a one-trick pony, I understand what my role is, but also let me use some of my foundational skill sets, maintaining integrity of data, being able to run reports very quickly and analyze so I know what's going on with the business. Because reporting is, we're not even on reporting, but being able to run a report very quickly in an analyst fashion, you need that. And I have to say this because I've seen more analyst people say, well, I'm an analyst and you have to be a data scientist or a data architect. And I don't agree with that concept because I think we miss the fact that these HR technologists such as ourselves, respectfully, we can play in the same sandbox as some of these data architects and some of these same data scientists because we just do people data. And probably your financial analyst could do the same, right? They do financial data, which is very different than enterprise data.
Yeah, something I wanted to piggyback on what you said there is you mentioned skills, and I think that really if you're looking for someone to be within this role, this department, that really that's I think what you should be looking at, not necessarily past job title, not necessarily a degree in a certain field, but I think you truly are looking for someone who is detail oriented, who is analytical. You're looking for someone who has the ability to prioritize and the agility to shift when things, suddenly change. I think you might be looking for maybe a natural storyteller, someone who can go ahead and take what they've analyzed and then communicate that to different people with different communication styles throughout the organization to make sure that that data that, that they're really in charge of is making it out.
Sorry.
Oh, no, go for it.
I was going to say, if we take it to core HR, their learning agility probably has to be high off the charts because they've got to be able to jump around to various things. But one of the things you said, and it triggered a thought of mine when you talked about, just having that core foundational and the skill set and things of that nature. I think one of the things, so the degree might not be important, but this is one thing that I get that gets caught up with HRIS people. And I don't know if you guys agree, but I think I want to clear up the myth from my perspective. Even when I've interviewed, it's you've had too many jobs, you've moved too much. I want to clear the myth up. HRIS people, if you stay in one place for one time, your skill set is stagnant. Most HRIS people naturally are looking for a challenge, change agent. They want to help a business grow and grow. And in a lot of organizations, if you've been with the same system 5, 10, 15 years, no willingness to change or innovate or grow, to your point, see what the technology is doing, that person's looking for the next thing, or they've done what they can do for your organization at that time, and there isn't a place for them to really help you to the next phase if you're not ready, or there's just nowhere to go. So I always hear that, well, they've been job hopping. I want to understand why they left. Was the opportunity just for money, or I was bored, I didn't like my manager? Or if you pay attention, most that I've found, it's the career growth, like the technology, like we didn't have any more projects. We're not, as you said, like we're not doing anything. We bought this technology 10 years ago and then we didn't want to do anything else. We don't have the budget. We're not investing in this technology. The reality is, what are they doing besides keeping the lights on?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the myths I find.
You're right. It's because it's not like we get bored as an HRIS professional. There's things that we can do, but there's also an excitement and there's a challenge into where we're going to take our organization and how far, because we're a little bit handcuffed in that as well. Sometimes we are the decision makers for new modules or new pieces of technology that can integrate within our systems. But a lot of the times we're not necessarily that person. So yeah, to take our role to a certain point, and then it's just we're report writers, we're doing data entry, we're not growing, we're not expanding, we're not trying new things and growing HR as a technology in general, you're right. It shouldn't be a bad thing or a knock against an individual that is in an HR capacity that has gone from organization to organization. But then again, too, the person that's interviewing that person obviously wants to do those digging in questions, because there may be a little bit more to that onion to peel back. But you're right. There is a constant need for a challenge and to try something new and to find the organization that best fits you in the level that you want to execute this role at.
We are like IT. I keep saying that. When IT people move, we don't really think too much about it. But you have to take that concept and put it in us. Remember, people technology, business technology, people technology. So absolutely agree with that. So should organizations adopt this? What if they're small, right? What if you're a small company? Is there a certain size of an organization where you say it's time to start looking at not only the technology, or even if they have one, but maybe they have something that's made for small size companies? Is there a point where they should invest in the people and the technology? What do you guys think?
And I'll go ahead and add on an additional part of that question real quick.
Sure.
And how much of that should be in-house versus your thoughts on moving that out of house and partnering with someone to do that?
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about the third. I hadn't thought about the.
I have thoughts on it, but I'm curious.
Okay. I've been making you guys go first. I'll go first. I definitely think that, I've like Andrew, I talk to customers and having those conversations. At what point do you invest in technology and people? I think that in 2024, you've got to have something. It doesn't have to be something of a UKG caliber, the size, what you do there, but there are other technologies, and we are a UKG podcast, so we're for UKG 100%, but I'm a realist. There are some companies that only have a couple hundred people, or they only have, under 1,000, and it may not financially nor, have the time to make sense to implement such as that, but there's still something out there for you. And I think that if you decide to not do it on paper or in an Access database for the spreadsheet, which we ward against at all costs, we don't want to hear about that. We absolutely think that you find someone, whether it's a junior analyst, whether it's somebody that's stepping into that world, or somebody that's got an interest in technology, there's never a wrong time to do it. I think what happens is the larger you get, the more you have to expand and grow your department based on what your business needs are. So maybe if you're a smaller under 1,000, you only need one person, or maybe even somebody that kind of moonlights in more than one role. But to your question, your secondary question about outsourcing, I said, I think it depends on the skill set and what you're willing to put towards that. I personally feel that having us in-house matters. And why I think that in-house matters is because I'm bought into the vision. I'm 100% aligned. I don't go away. I don't run away. I am here for the long haul, regardless if we decide to stay with this, don't stay with this. And the larger you get, a lot of times you do see consultants come in. But to be honest, I get a little bit nervous. And yes, people can leave organizations, but I'm not bought into the company. I have no stake in it. So I may or may not feel the same way. So I personally, as you guys know me, I'm not a huge consultant. It's nothing against consultants themselves, but I believe in investing in the people that work for you, finding the people, giving them the benefits, or whether it's your ESOP or your pension or whatever you have, giving them a value to stay and grow your organization.
I think it's really hard to pinpoint on the question of the actual size of the organization. Like, what is that threshold that maybe now I should start thinking about an HCM system? And I mean, it's really the people that you have into place and what the knowledge that you already have in the organization. I mean, how are you processing payroll? How are you doing your taxes? What's your recruiting strategy look like? So if you're struggling to answer some of those questions, or you're stressing out about how do I do this or how do I do that, maybe it's time, to start having those conversations and start thinking about it. but it's going to be a heavy investment. But I like, Geronica, what you were saying, that let's invest in our people. Let's give our people the opportunity to grow and to try something new. Because to be honest, that pulls at my strings, because that's where I was, not that long ago. And I raised my hand in the back of the room and said, I want to give this a try. So every company is going to be different. There's no blueprint at all as to what that's going to look like. But do your research. Do put forth that effort and find a system that's going to work best for you. We can point you in all kinds of different directions of what we would suggest. That might not be the best for you. So really do your due diligence. Talk to people. Talk to professionals. Do reference checks so you understand what you're getting into before you eventually make that commitment.
I would agree. I think that there's no really set size, but I think a good question to ask yourself is, how are you doing it now? And would it be easier if we had an HRIS system in place? Obviously, the implementation is going to be a lot of work, but if you take a look and you go, hey, we have the resources for a system of some kind, and that's going to go ahead and make it easier for us to do what we need to do and allow us to go ahead and take on even more because we're spending less time doing things manually. Maybe that's a good time to go ahead and start looking to invest. Because if you can take some of that paperwork, some of that manual work, some of that spreadsheet work off of your staff and allow them to focus on more people-related things as opposed to just a process, your company can only benefit from that. So I think that's the line right there.
Andrew said something awesome. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dalton.
No,
you took a long pause. I thought you were done. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, I'm a thespian. There's a long pause in there for like a nice dramatic.
Very dramatic. No, I was just gonna say I like what Andrew said about investing in your people. Mm-hmm. You may have people that want to be tapped on. They also are looking for development. Maybe they're a little bit burned out in their current role, or maybe they just haven't discovered their true potential. And you don't need, like you said, it doesn't have to be some let's hire a whole new staff situation. It could be we want to put something in place. We need a person that's willing, and you free up a little bit of their time, or all of their time preferably, to really learn and grow. And usually those are the people that honestly I found they become like some of the best, and you hate to lose them because then they already have the knowledge of the business, right? They've got that legacy knowledge, and then they've got a perspective from wherever they came from, and now they put that in here and they're thinking about things, as you said, like the people, the manager, so your employees, your manager, and your administrator, so they're thinking from a different lens even, because they're like, well, wait a minute, if I was in this role, how would that work? And so investing in your people is important. Sorry, Dalton, come on, Thespian.
You are all good. No, I agree. I think it's very important to invest in your people. And I think that truly an investment in an HRIS system is an investment in your people. In many cases, it will go ahead and increase transparency for your organization. It will go ahead and make formerly manual processes less manual. So there's not a lot of the nitty-gritty for your staff. But sort of transitioning into whether it's an HRIS team, internal or external, invest in your people. I think that an external HRIS team is better than no HRIS team.
Well, yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
You see that.
We are super cool.
Like we didn't like if you say that way, of course. Like
I'm putting that out there for the people who aren't on it, who are listening, who aren't HRIS people, who are like, hey, I would love this, but our business is never going to go ahead and greenlight this right now. Great. See if you can get a consultant for a little bit. Maybe they'll go ahead and okay that. And when they see the value that brings, maybe you'll be able to go ahead and get that budget approval for the first role on an HRIS team. But there is something to be said about the person who knows your culture, who is invested in your company, who is learning as you grow and knows like all the weird idiosyncrasies that your company has, because every company has them. And just being able to go ahead and grow from there. And then, 100%, get if you're opening it up, give someone a chance who's there, see if anyone wants to. Andrew said that's how he got a start. That's how I got my start. It was onboarding, and our former HRIS administrator was like, hey, I'm moving into a different role. We work closely together. Take a look.
Trial by fire. You brought up you keep triggering my brain about something. So one thing we didn't do, and I don't know that we've ever done it. What is HRIS? We talked about it like everybody knows what it is, but I think there's still organizations that don't even know what it is to make the decision that they want it, right? They're still going, well, why do I have that? What do those people do? Can't I just use this person over here? So what would you do? What would be your definition of somebody, the elevator pitch of what is HRIS? What is HR technology? Whatever you want to call it. What is the department and what do we do or bring to the organization besides what we can do? But what are we?
Yeah, I think broadly speaking, HRIS is a human resource information system or systems. And the goal is to go ahead and get an automated system staffed by people who understand the system and your organization to increase, let me try to order these, to increase compliance, to increase transparency, to push efficiencies, and to really help support first your HR team and secondarily your organization as a whole through technology.
I'm going to combine what you just said and just say your HR efficiency coordinators.
And then I'm going to go dumb it down and even say we are the IT for HR.
There you go.
That's what
there you go.
So we got the long version, the medium version, but I think that's important because we still get the question of what is HRIS? Why do you go to the UKG conference? What is this UKG system? It's just a payroll database. Ooh, that like pulls at my throat when people say it's just a payroll system. Does that bother anybody else or does it just bother me? That people think we're just a payroll system. We just pay people.
Yeah. I combat that and say, yeah, we're a payroll system, but we're also your company's database of truth or your system of truth. Everything else can spawn off of us and our systems and what we do.
Right.
Whether that's benefits, that's payroll, that's your Active Directory.
I was gonna say even IT stuff.
Yeah, your company reporting. It all starts here.
Did you notice how I said Active Directory?
I hear that all the time.
For our organization, it's really easy because our HR team doesn't do payroll. That's under finance. So while we use a UTM through UKG for payroll, I don't own that as the HRIS person. So it's very easy to be like, no, the payroll side is in finance. I do everything else that you do in the system.
We're both like, no. Anything that's in my system is my system. And we need to be best friends because at the end of the day, it all connects. But I just was curious because people always like, oh, the payroll team. And I'm like, technically, I'm not the payroll team. While I support the whole organization, HRIS to me, and I think I've said this to you guys before, what I love is we get the opportunity to see the whole pie. There's a pie. Your organization is a pie, whether it's customer service, engineering, operations, production, whatever that looks like. With our technology, as you said, the system of record, right? The system of truth. We get a window into that system of truth, into everybody else's what they consider the production system of truth, the ERP financial system of truth, because we're feeding GLs, we're feeding people data into Active Directory and into your IT systems. We're doing all of that. And honestly, the buck starts and stops with us. No one comes in or out of the organization without going through what we touch. And that's the beauty. And we get to understand how the web is weaved, right? We get to understand how it's all entangled, which is super cool. So I think for me, I'm going to wrap it up by saying, if you haven't considered an HRIS department or haven't even considered technology, do your research. But we think the way that the world is moving and the way that organizations and we work for our people, you've got to support them with technology, not only just for their payroll, but for their development, for their growth, for recruiting, they're learning, so on and so forth. And so whether you are 2 people or 200,000 people, it's time to start thinking about what does that look like. And when you think about what that looks like, you should be thinking about the people that are going to help to support the thing, right? The system, the technology, because at the end of the day, people make it. And without the people who are really invested in it, it's just a piece of technology that's sitting on a shelf collecting dust, and to your point, getting no ROI, so you've just spent a lot of money.
That's right. All in all, HRIS people, we are super cool. We get it. We want to help, and we want to better our organizations in all different facets, not just HR.
Yeah.
Employees, culture, managers, decision making, all of it. We're here to partner with you and to make things better. That's what makes us super cool. Just saying.
And if you think that one HRIS person is cool, think about having a department of HRIS people. Just a little plug out there for some of us who are a department of one.
Yeah.
Just a plug for the people in the department.
Yeah, I mean,
get him a friend, guys.
Yeah.
One is a lonely number. I get it, Dalton.
Oh, I love that. I love a little diddly.
The whole time that you've been talking about like an HRIS department, Veronica, I've been, I want that.
But you know what? I came from a team of one, and I've been a team of one. Remember when I started, team of one? But I really had to sell the vision of why one was a lonely number, to his point. Why we needed more, because we wanted to do more, and you're expecting one person to do the work of many. And depending on the technology you have, you just can't support one. Some of them are so complex that you need a team. And so I agree. I've been there and I never want to go back. I'm just being honest. It's nice to have friends where I can be like, hey, you're smart in this. I'm smart in this. Let's all use our different. Sorry, we're going to get you a friend. Send you a.
I mean, here's the nice thing.
What's even that movie, Ted?
Even if you're like Andrew and I, and you're a department of one, just keep in mind that that's what we have user groups for, is so that you can have friends. And on that note, this is the Chicago Users Productions logging out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.